opening up the lymph ducts. Otherwise, I'm just going round and round and mopping a wet floor and actually smearing the dirt back across and underneath the floor. Same in this area. And I'm putting quite a firm pressure on her. Most clients will have so much emotional tension in here. How many clients come in and tell you their problems? Counsellors, we're shrinks. It sits inside the body. Science is proving more and more that consciousness creates your reality, i.e. if you're upset, it's not going to go and land on your best friend's body. It sets in the DNA, in the cell of your body, and it starts to permeate a very negative effect inside your cell. And you can get sick cells. Our job is to keep them healthy. So a woman around here, she'll get very tight. You know when you cry? Isn't it from here? Don't you feel it in your solar plexus? Yeah, when a client comes in for a facial, we don't really even touch them down here. We don't even really put enough pressure down here. So she's looking great up here, but actually, it's a glass bottle. But if I squeezed a bottle, a plastic one, squeezed it, the top part of the bottle would start to have more and more fluid. Can everyone imagine that in their head? This is how a woman's face becomes. More upset, more fluid. Another thing upset me, more fluid. Become puffy. How many of you have got clients that have got really puffy faces? Show of hands. It's got nothing to do with the products they've been using. Emotions are represented by fluid in the body. Every time you get upset, every time something happens to you, you pack it onto the face. Women are much more bloated and have got much more cellulite. Don't have to go down the cellulite route, but much more lymphatic problems than men. Why? We're so much more emotional. You need to move it away. Your clients are coming in and they want so much more than a basic treatment. I need to pop this quickly. Now, Frankie's face has already started to, the colours becoming much more even. I don't know if you can see it from where you are. So we're working on the lymphatic, we're working on any emotional tension. Most women will tell you that this feels amazing. In France and Italy, they don't do any treatments unless it involves a bust or breast treatment. We're not like that in the UK. But it's an area that we ignore, and it's got huge retail and beautifying benefits. I haven't even really worked on her skin yet. What I'm concentrating on is opening up all this area that's going to drain away the fluid. Do I look like I'm scared about touching her, like I'm going to break something? I'm not just working on the skin. Frankie, that's a very different pressure there, isn't it? Much lighter. You can almost see how light I'm working if I do this and then if I do this. She's got congestion down here. I don't mean spots. It's this underlying fluid that seems to be sitting all over her face. We know we've got major lymph nodes around here. The pressure is going to help me to drain away. And actually, I can start toning this muscle just by using very small movements. Now, I get to around here, and there's a lot more tension and a lot more congestion. I could keep this very simple and do nice effleurage. No, I'm not going to get my result. Actually, what I need to do is go down to that bottom structure that I was talking about, the bone. The muscles will sit on the bone. The lymph will sit on top of it. The skin will sit on top of that. And then all the external pigmentation and spots will sit on top of that. Your dryness sits on top of that. Actually, what about what's going on right underneath? And I don't mean using a vacuum suction machine or a brush or micro currents or hands. I'm applying enough pressure to get right down to her bone. Is it painful? Is it relaxing? I'm going to keep working here for a little bit. I can feel the nodules starting to move. They're moving away, and I'm draining them down into this area. I'm going to put my pressure back in here again. Now we get to the juicy area that's causing her a lot of her problems. She's got a little pocket here. It's about that big, and it's full of sinus tissue fluid. Most of the time, you will pass right over it. Literally, you'll do a couple of moves, and you'll drain out, and you're done. There is so much potential. Going back to our dot, there's so much potential. This is the white space that you never really looked at. This area starts to impact the sinus pockets that are in here. Headaches, migraines, dark circles, fatigue, blinking eyes. Sounds familiar, Frankie? I'm not scared to press in here. I've got a lot of cream on Frankie. I'm not going to break anything. In fact, I'm completely oxygenating her skin for her. It's why she's here. There's sinus fluid in here. And it's running right up into the eye. I'm toning, I'm draining, I'm relaxing her, and she feels like she's really getting a great massage. I spend 40 minutes massaging a client. I spend 10 minutes on the cleanse, 5 minutes when I'm doing the peel. I spend at least 30 minutes massaging her skin in the facial massage. Well, when do I do extractions? I get them in. When do I do a mask? As I'm massaging it in. And if it goes dry, I'll keep applying a little bit of water. I never stop touching the client. I never leave a room. I don't do hand massages. She wants a hand massage, she'll ask her husband. I just keep touching her face. That's why she's there. That's why I want her there. Anything that's movable, I normally go for quite wet masks and exfoliators that are quite rich. They're not really dry, so that I can keep working on them. This area has really freed up. I can feel it. It's much softer. This is very tough. I wish you could all come round and touch both sides. But can you start to imagine how one side would feel as opposed to the other now? This area here has started to go much flatter. What was happening before? I'm sorry guys, I'm working on the wrong side for you. I've just realised. This area here, this is puffy, so what it does when her eyes are open is it creates this little pocket here, and it makes her eye area look further sunk back in. But if you massaged it for 3 or 4 minutes, it will go really, really flat and actually create a little lift, and then this area where the pocket is doesn't exist anymore. Doesn't need to be there. So I'm doing a really great eye treatment for her. Haven't charged her any more money. I've got a retail exposure at the end because I can add an eye cream in at the end. But actually it was my hands that did all the work, and therefore she'll trust the eye cream.